It's quite an unusual situation here. I think we're normally accustomed to the reverse in these situations, where you have the alleged victim saying that it had been the subject of an attack and the purported aggressor denying all knowledge of it. But in this case, it's been exactly the opposite. We've had Russia saying that it had fired warning shots and Britain saying, no, you didn't. You advertised in advance that you were going to be doing rehearsals. What we do know is that shots were certainly fired because there were witnesses on the ship that heard them being fired. We just don't know in what direction they were being fired. But there is a grander picture here, which is the buildings of tensions between Russia and the West.
Well, I wanted to get into that because if the Russian version is true, the Associated Press is saying that this would be the first time since the Cold War that Moscow has actually acknowledged using live ammunition to deter a NATO warship. So what does that tell you about these growing tensions between Russia and the West?
Well, you've set the context there quite perfectly, actually, there, because where we are at the moment is at a period of significant tension between not just Britain and Russia, but the West and Russia. And this arrival of HMS Defender in the Black Sea wasn't a surprise. In fact, ships that want to enter the Black Sea have to declare their intentions several weeks in advance to the Turkish authorities, because Turkey is the only route into the Black Sea from the wider area. And what's been going on here have been a series of exploratory exercises, shall we say, along the coast of Crimea. Crimea, of course, being annexed by Russia now for well over half a decade. But Britain and the West don't recognise that claim. But it isn't just happening in one direction. As recently as March 2021, we had reports from NATO of Russian fighter jets testing the air boundaries of NATO countries. They were reported off the coast of Norway, off the coast of Scotland, and even as far north as Alaska. And NATO jets had to be scrambled to escort these jets around. This is the wider context, which is a sort of flexing of muscles, shall we say, between these two superpowers. We're not quite at the stage yet of Cold War-style confrontation, but both sides are desperate to show the other how strong that they really are.